guys. Well, I'm Amy from Three Princess Designs, and I just wanted to make sure that I showed you a beautiful new wreath that I created for you guys here on YouTube. I hope that you love this wreath. You're gonna see all the things and how I made it right here on this YouTube channel. This is our Three Princess Design YouTube channel. Make sure that you come and you hit the subscribe button, as well as hitting the notification bell so that you can be notified when we put in new videos all the time. And I do want to do a shout out to my friends that are in this collaboration with me. So you're going to need a wreath form. This one is the smaller one. It's a 10 to 14, I believe. This is the my little sign I'm using, pumpkin patch. It's like a bottle cap sign. This one came from Michael's. You're going to need a cutter of some kind, even if it's just scissors. 10-inch mesh. I've got two 10-inch meshes here. I'm going to be using both. There's 12 ties on the wreath form, so I'm going to go ahead and cut 12 pieces. My first piece is going to be, we're going to put the blue down first. The blue is going to be 15 inches pieces, and the brown and white stripe is going to be 12-inch pieces. So let's get started. So I like to cut the one that I need second, because then I can just set them aside and then stack the other ones on them. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use my rotary cutter here, and I just usually go ahead and start the straight edge because I want to make sure that I don't have a crazy random edge on my mesh. Okay, so we're just going to cut that and make it a little bit more straight. I'll push that to the side. Now I'm just going to be cutting myself some 12-inch pieces, and I'm going to start right here at the 22 line, which makes me go to the 10-inch line. No big deal there. It's just where I have for spacing for you guys to see what I'm up to. So I'm going to pull this down a little so you can see better. There you go. And here we go. I do usually put a pair of scissors right here for me, just to hold. So we're on the 22-inch line, so we're going to cut it at the 10-inch. And I need 12 of those pieces. So same thing here, 22 to the 10. So we're going to set that aside. And now we're doing 15-inch pieces on the blue. Just going to go ahead and give myself a straighter edge to start with. Move that all over to the side. So we're going to go to the 25 line and do the same thing, just cut at the 10. And I'll be right back. We're doing 15s. Okay, well, we are back. And now we're going to go ahead and I'm going to do a really pretty ruffle method of deco mesh. And I'm actually just going to fold this over. We're going to do a fold over technique on the deco mesh. These are 15-inch pieces. I'm just flipping it over. I overlaid each piece so they just wrapped over each other, made it kind of a tube, and then smushed it down. Then I'm going to ruffle it right here in the center. That's going to keep my raw edges underneath. And we're going to go ahead and place them in the wreath. Just place them in each tie, just like this. And I just give them a good couple of twists. And look how cute that looks. Looks like a bow tie, right? So we're just going to keep doing that. Folding over, taking the raw edge right here, folding them over, giving them a little bit of an overlap, about an inch, making it into a tube, smushing it down, and ruffling right in the center. So right here, I am just adding this bow tie right in to my tie. And just like that, it's already starting to give it some body. This is one of my favorite techniques because you can actually keep those raw edges underneath, and it just looks a lot better when it's finished. It helps prevent fraying. Not that deco mesh does fray, I mean it just does, but it helps prevent some of it because those raw edges are underneath instead of exposed. And then you just kind of butt them up to each other. and we keep going. So there we go, just a little ruffle. Making a bow tie and tied it in. And like I said, I like to twist them in a couple of times. I just twist and twist. That's just my preference. You can do it any way you want to. So again, here's this. Folding it over, ruffling down the center. And I always start on the bottom ones first because you're going to be overlaying the top of your mesh. Okay. And I love this mesh. This is a Craig Bachman mesh. It's beautiful, beautiful, nice quality, really beautiful mesh. We're just adding that in right here. Turning our form. Looks like we're on our last one on the bottom, and then we'll go to the top and do our layers. Okay, so we've got our whole bottom done. Just like that. Now we're going to go to the top. We're going to do the same thing. Over, over, make it a tube, and scrunch. We're going to take this one and we're going to go right up above here and put it on top. Give it 2 little twists and move on to our next tie, which is right here. Right there. This little guy, his little twisties are like not wanting to work out right there. They wanted to stay together, but we're gonna manhandle them a little bit. We're gonna get them to work. There we go. Okay, so here we are. I'm just making sure I'm fluffing as I go around. We're gonna add in another. So yeah, this one's a little bit wonky. Got one right here. Pull those ties down. There we go. Overlap, overlap, make it a roll, and scrunch it. And here we go. Look at that. Looking so pretty already, right? So we got 2 more of these to add in. So 1 and a tube. Make it a tube, add it in, and 1 more to go right here. Pull these ties down just a little and let that one be open. 1 more time. Fold over, there we go. Like I said, this technique is just called the fold over technique, and it's just to help that raw edge stay under, and it also makes a good poof on the ends for your ruffles. So easy peasy. Look at how cute that little blue wreath is already, and already nice and full. So now we're going to add in some brown and white to kind of pop these colors. And these are cut at 12 inches. So 12 inches on this one. One of my favorite mesh to use is the jute one. This one is the jute and white stripe, but I love the jute as well. I'm going to do the same thing with this one though. I'm going to just go ahead and fold it over, do the same thing, give myself a nice little bow tie, and I'm going to add it right in on top. But instead of going this way so that it covers the blue, I'm going to go long ways. This also extends the size of your wreath, so it's not just an itty bitty baby wreath, but I also do this on some of my bigger ones too. And that way they're crisscrossing each other, and you can see both colors. And we're just going to do the same here, rolling and scrunching in the middle after you make a tube. So I'm just adding that in vertically into my same ties, making sure I get them nice and fluffy in there. We're going to turn this, and you can already see how it's making that blue pop with that brown accent. But you're also being able to still see the blue. You're just basically making a burrito, flattening it out, and then scrunching it in the middle. I love putting in a lot of beautiful mesh, but I also feel like if you put it right on top of each other, you can't see all the beautiful colors. If I put that the same way, then it would cover that blue and you wouldn't see it as much. I want to see the beautiful colors I put in. Why do you put, you know, good quality mesh in if you can't see them all, right? So I like to do it that way, to where I turn them vertical so you can still see both colors and you can see the accent of the colors. Now, when we put ribbons and stuff in, you still don't see a lot of it, but you're still going to see some of it. And that's one of the biggest things. Because when you put in ribbons, then you kind of cover up all your mesh, right? So I'm just doing, you'll see when we get to the other parts of this that you'll still be able to see some mesh. And that's how I like to see it, because mesh is beautiful and they have such great textures and colors that you definitely want to still be able to see all the things. So I'm just adding these in piece by piece, and right in the center is where I'm tying them at. And we've got this one, then we're going to go to the top. We'll move to the top. If you work with mesh, comment and tell me what's your favorite mesh to work with. I'd love to know. And if you are joining me for the first time, please subscribe and hit the notification bell so you'll know every time I upload a new video. We will be uploading videos more regularly now. We just have, you know, it takes time to get business rolling and stuff. So we are going to be uploading more videos coming up. So please make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell so you can see every time we upload a new video. A great big shout out to my fellow crafters in this collaboration. I'm so excited to be in a collaboration with these ladies. And if you will do me a favor and if you'll go over to their pages and watch their videos after this one, make sure that you leave a little pumpkin in there as an emoji in their comments so that they know you came over from my page. I would love to have you do that. There will be a playlist down below. We have so many wonderful creators that are in this collaboration, and you really don't want to miss it. We've got just 2 more to go. And one more time, I'll show you this fold over method. And see how you can see the blue popping through the brown? That's exactly how I love it. Look, this one got a little bit of extra flocking. Okay, so here we go. Last one to put in. We're going to do fold over. Oh, we're doing, this one is the 12-inch pieces because they're the accents. They're smaller. The blue was 15. And this one is 12. We're just doing fold over and then flattening it out and making a bow tie, scrunching it right in the middle, doing the ruffle in the middle, and making a bow tie. So now I'm going to add this one right in. And that is our last tie. So now we're going to go through and make sure that we're all fluffed up and stuff. And you can still see all the colors. Look at how pretty that is already. And this is how thick it is already. Like, it's a pretty thick wreath. All right. So we've got this all set up. Now what we're going to do is we're going to do our ribbons. So let me show you the ribbons that I picked out for this wreath. So we have white pumpkin. Look at these beauties. White pumpkin. Look at this one, the pumpkin truck. So you have a glittery pumpkin truck. You guys can see that. Look at that. Glittery pumpkin truck. White pumpkins. A nice stripe to match up with that, as well as a crisscross blue pattern. So we're going to be doing these in our ties. So I'm going to go ahead and cut these guys. These guys are going to be cut at 12 inches. So I will cut them, and then I'll come back and then I'll show you how to do dovetails. Okay, and we're back. So I have cut my ribbons at 12-inch pieces, but I'm going to show you how to do some dovetails on the ends of them. So this is a dovetail. Let me see if this is a little too bright, it looks like. So this is what a dovetail looks like. Oh my goodness, it's still a little bright. That's a dovetail on a ribbon. So I'm going to show you what that looks like. I cut these ribbons at 12 inches. And I decided to go ahead and do just two of the ribbons, two of the bigger ones. And then we're going to pop the truck one right into the actual bow when I do that with you. So you just take your ribbon, fold it in half long ways. Right here, you're going to take it, fold it in half long ways, and cut on an angle from the bin, from where you folded it, up to the outside edges where the wire is on an angle. Just in a kind of little, I'm just fixing that angle there, and look, there you go, dovetail. So that's how you dovetail. It gives you a nice finished edge on your ribbons. And so we're going to do that with a couple more. Let's see. Looks like I've got 3 here to do. So we're going to take those. Same thing, doesn't matter what size the ribbon is, you're just going to take it, fold it, go from the fold up to the wire on an angle, and you get the dovetail. So same thing here, just make sure your ends are together. You can usually do a few of them at a time. This, I have 3 of them at a time there, depending on how thick your ribbon is and how good your scissors are. I love using these ones. I use CCR from Amazon. They're awesome. Awesome sauce. They're great scissors. So just doing the same thing again, we're going to do this. Now you could just cut them on a slant or whatever way you want to. I'm going to cut them just in a dovetail. And it's that easy. So now we're going to take all those ribbon ends, get them off the table, and we're going to put in some tails. So the tails that I'm doing is I'm doing the pumpkin, the white pumpkin, and I'm doing the plaid pattern, and I'm going to just put this on top of them. This will bring out the extra blues and stuff in the truck, and then we'll put the truck ribbon in with all these other ribbons in the bow. So let's get that going. I'm just going to set my tails over here. All I'm doing right here, I'm going to grab one of my blues, and we'll grab the plaid. We'll start with the plaid, and they're just going to be alternating them. So I'm going to grab my plaid and the blue. See how they're on top of each other like that? Just going to fold them in half to find my center. There's my center. And I'm just going to kind of scrunch them together right there at the center. And then I'm going to put them in like an upside down V shape. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and do the top first. And the reason I do the top first is that helps me for when I'm doing this so I'm not hitting these bottom ones. And all I'm going to do is kind of fluff those. And they're good wired ribbons, so it's nice to be able to separate them out. You just separate them Kind of give them a good curve with your fingers. And look how cute those look. Okay? We're going to move on. We're going to turn around and we're going to do the pumpkins with the blue. So we're really accenting the blue in this because the sign and then the pumpkins that we're going to use is going to have a lot of orange and white. So we're going to be accenting this blue with our ribbons and our mesh. And even though this has a little bit different shade of blue, it's okay because the truck has several shades of blue in it. So same thing, just getting my center, just taking it into the same tie and twisting it right in there. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing here, just kind of give it a nice little curve. And we'll go back and be fluffing a little bit more before we finish up today, of course. And some ribbons are double-sided, so you want to make sure that you're getting the good side out, or they appear to be double-sided. You want to make sure that you're getting the good side facing up. I'm just taking this right down in here into my same tie, tying it in, and voila, there it is. Like I said, give that a nice curve with your fingers. If you have a nice wired ribbon, it's going to go really nice. And you can separate those out so you can get both looks right there. Okay, moving on to this one. And I like to do like alternating my ribbons. It just kind of gives a good little effect on your wreath. It gives more dimension with different colors and stuff. And I'm just taking that centerpiece right there into my wreath. Every wreath maker does things a little bit different. We all have our own unique types of ways we do things. Like I like to do where you do vertical and horizontal on your mesh. Every wreath maker has their own style. And I'm just going to keep those ties there because I'll show you how to finish those off when we're done. Taking my ribbons, folding them in half, finding my center, and then scrunching that right here in the ties. And it's okay if this happens. So because of the way that the ties are and how oddly it was set, so there's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ties on the top, 7 on the bottom. Because they're odd, you're going to have duplicate at one point, and that's totally okay. What I like to do when they have duplicates is I like to turn that as my bottom. So I make that my bottom. That way I know that we have the doubles down here, and then when I go to place everything, I'm going to also have I'll have doubles of the opposite, the pumpkin ones down here. It just happens because of the way that it shakes out, but no big deal. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and go in here with my pumpkin ribbon, and I like to do the opposite one below it. Same thing. So like you're doing every other, you're doing it this way as well. Now these will start to line up a little bit as they go around, and that's just the way that it works on a wreath frame, but it's no big deal. So right here, same thing. Just scrunching that together. Now I'm at the bottom now. So I'm on the bottom of this rung of this wreath frame. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to push this back a little bit so that I can show you what's happening. We're going on the outer edge here. Same thing, but like I said, I don't like to bump into them while I'm working on the wreath until the end part. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just giving that a nice little curl with my fingers. I'm going to separate these out, so you're still going to see both. And look how cute those look. So we're moving on to this one. This one's going to be the plaid. Now see how it starts to line up kinda, because it's not quite over away from it, but it's close enough. As your wreath form goes around, these are work forms, guys. Work forms are so nice because they're already stacked and they already have the ties on them. It makes it a little easier when you're making a wreath. It also gives you a little more height. So on a work form, they already have ties on them depending on the size of the work form. They have anywhere from 10 to 19 or 20 ties on them. So depending on the size form you're using. So we're still accenting with this baby, with this little blue, but we're also showing that awesome plaid. So folding in half, getting my center, and putting that right in here into my ties. Sometimes it likes to fight with you, so that's okay. You just show it who's boss. So just found that center by folding it, just scrunching these ribbons, and I'm scrunching them to the underside. I'll show you what I mean about that when I come back on to this next one. Then you just want to make sure that your ribbon's laying beautifully. I'm going to take off my ring real quick. I don't want to keep getting it caught there. There we go. Okay. So what I mean about to the underneath, let me show you. So here's my ribbon, folding it back, because it's going to go backwards, right guys? So it's going backwards. So we're going to go folding this under, scrunching it, folding this under, because that's how it's going to go into the tie. Just fold it that way so it turns into the upside down V, and voila, it's in. Now just twist in your ribbons to make sure they're right, the way you want them. Giving them some love. You always can give them some love, especially if they have some good wire, like I said. You always want to get good wired ribbon. Always use wired ribbon if you can. It's the best. Okay, here we go. Folding. Just moving this like this, folding those under. And there we go. And then see how we get right back here, and we're going to put a pumpkin one in, but it's going to match up with this one. So that's okay, because this is going to be the bottom. If you look, there's our two plaids, and now we're going to have two pumpkins. We're going to go ahead and fold that backwards, fold that under, scrunch it, fold it under. Okay, turning that into a V. And if you feel like it's too short on one side, you just pull it a little. It's forgiving. It's pretty forgiving. And there we go. So we have this whole thing. Look at that. All tails are on. They're on there. Look how cute that is already, guys. Look at that. Beautiful plaids and pumpkin. Okay, so let's go ahead. We're going to go find our bottom. Remember, our bottom is going to be double, double. Okay, so look at how cute this is. Just a fun little pumpkin patch sign with a truck on it, right? So I'm going to go ahead and take this, and we're going to put a tie in the back of it. We're actually, let's do Chanel. Well, first we need to give it another hole right here. We need another hole right here. So let me grab my punch and I'll show you how to do that. Okay, and we're back. So here is that sign, and it already has a hanger up here, which I'm going to cut this one off because I want to secure it right on the ring that it has. All right, so I'm going to secure it right there on there, but we're also going to secure it at the bottom. We want to make sure that it has a nice secure fitting into the wreath. So I'm going to go ahead and go right to the bottom here. Let's find that center. I'm going to use my metal hole punch. I have a metal hole punch here. You can purchase this at, like, I think we got it from Hobby Lobby. It's actually in We Are Memory Keepers. So it's in the scrapbooking stuff, but it's great for these kind of projects. It helps if you unlock it. So let's unlock it. There we go. And now all I have to do is I take it and I'm going to go right here. And I want to see, let's see, we're going to punch right about there. And I didn't punch all the way through because I don't want to go, I don't want it to be so big that the tie goes wobbling around. But I just left it open just a little bit, you can see that, so that I can get my stem through. So now I'm actually going to put my Chanel stem through right here, and because it opened only halfway, it gives me 2 holes. So I'm going to weave this through. Easier said than done, right? Always. I'm going to weave that through both sides there so that I can make this tie down into the wreath securely. Okay, so I have that Chanel stem there. I'm going to do the same thing here on this side. And I'm actually going to pull this one down a little bit more. We're just going to tie this around itself right there, right at the top. And when it goes down in, we'll make sure we cut off any excess. Okay, so there we go. We just have a pipe cleaner there. This one, I'm going to fix this one a little bit differently, just the same as this last one we did. So let me pull this out just a little. Maybe, baby. Here we go. Okay, so I'm just pulling that a little bit more. I'm going to make that a longer side. We're going to tighten this up here and then wrap it around itself. You're not going to really see this once it gets into the wreath anyway. And there we go. So now we have ties on this. So we're going to pull this wreath over. This is our bottom. We know that because of the doubles. I'm going to lay this in here. And first, I'm just going to get my placing. So let's figure out exactly where in this wreath I want this to place. I want it to nestle down a little without taking away from the beauty. I also want this to come around the sign a little to give it some fluff and stuff. So what we're going to do right here is we're going to go ahead and put, I'm going to take this tie and I'm going to go right down in to the frame. You can see where I'm putting my hand down into the frame, and I am just putting that Chanel stem right around that one bar. That way I have it kind of secured. So I'm going to turn this around this way. I'm going to do the same kind of thing, give myself some space. I didn't pull it tight all the way yet because I want to make sure that I'm centered and also that I do both sides kind of evenly. You don't want it tipping. So the same thing, I'm going down in, finding my frame, I'm going to the second bar on the frame and pulling it around. So now you can see, we're going to pull it around to the back. You can see, there's my chenille stem. Here's my chenille stem. Now let's see if we like the placement. I think I want that tightened a little bit more on that top. And that looks pretty good. I kind of like where that's going. So right here, I'm going to just go ahead, oops, I lost part of it, but it's okay. We'll use that leverage with the bar and pull it up there. The same thing here. We use the bar to secure it. We'll double check it. Do I like that placement? Is this where I want it? I want the chenille stem to be hidden, so I'm going to pull up some of my mesh to pull around it so that we can see the beautiful mesh around it and also make it look like it's kind of in a flower. Does that kind of gives it that flower effect. It's got these ruffles all around it, and you can see the beauty of the mesh that it's placed with. Let me pull some glue out here. See that beauty? I love it. Okay, so now we've given it some body to be with. We're going to pull out a little bit more blue right there. There we go. And look, it's nestled in there nicely, so let me just double check and we'll pull up we'll make sure that we get that nice and nestled in. So I'm going to turn it over. Just pull it a little bit tighter, just a little bit. And then we just want to rewrap that around to make sure that it's nice and secure. And then I'll go in and I'll cut them off once I'm 100% sure about the security of them. And look at that. Already, look how beautiful this is. Okay, so now we've got to make a bow. Let's make us a bow. And then, of course, when you flip it over like that, you want to be careful because you do smash up your ribbons and stuff, so you just want to fix them and fluff them. But look how cute already this is, and we're not even done yet. So let's go ahead and we'll move this to the side. We're going to pull out the Easy Bow Maker today because that's what we're using, is the Easy Bow Maker today. You can find these on Amazon as well at your craft stores and Deco Exchange. I can put some links in the comments for you so that you can find that easily. And here we go. So the first thing we're going to do with that is we're going to use a piece of floral wire. And I just have these pre-cut floral wires right here. They are just pre-cut 24 gauge floral wires. Okay. And I'm just going to take one of them out of the package here. I don't open the package all the way because it keeps them secure in there. I just kind of have it twisted so that they can pull right out. And so here is one of those wires, if you can see that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and place that right here in between the two dowels of my Easy Bow Maker. We're going to place it right there. I'm going to grab my ribbons. Remember, we went with this one. We have this one. We have the truck, which we're going to put a couple of the truck ones in it. And we have this. So we're going to make a pretty substantial bow with our ribbons. Okay? So, we're going to start off with, let's start off with that truck ribbon. So I am right-handed, so I'm going to turn this around. And we're going to put this on here. Now I'm going to show you a little trick, because when you have ribbons that's like this, you don't want your trucks upside down, which will happen if you do it, if you just do it normally. So here on the Easy Bow Maker, we're going to go ahead and we're going to do our bow. First, we're going to figure out what size we want the bow. Well, the bow probably is going to be like a 5-inch. Because of it being a smaller wreath, we're going to do like a 5-inch loop, which if you look at that, it actually makes it 10 inches wide. But we're also going to check and see, okay, how do I want my ribbons to go? So this is going to be, we're going to do a 5-inch, but I want to know how long are my tails. So let's see. On this guy, he probably only needs like a little 6-inch tail. We don't want him to have something super crazy, right? So right here is where the 6 inches. I'm going to probably move that down a little bit because I don't want to cut off in the middle of a truck. So I'm going to move that down a little bit, and you can always adjust your sizes, guys. So I'm actually going to scrunch right in here, in between the trucks and the pumpkins. So that I know is where my scrunch is. Now I want to make a 5-inch loop, and because this is a one-way ribbon, meaning it's done only one way because of the print, we're going to go ahead and I'm going to make that loop, and I'm going to scrunch them right there. Okay? And I'm putting the loop in there first. Now I want this to be a 5-inch loop, and I want you to be able to see that whole image of the truck. So we're going to move this out a bit, and it's a little bit tedious when it comes to doing the ribbon, but I want that truck shown. So we're going to go ahead, and it's going to be a little bit over 5. It's going to be almost 5.5. Okay? And I'm just putting my tail down here. Now on this side, because if I just went ahead and did my loops, you see, oh, actually, I may be able to do it this way. Let's try that again. So we're going to go this way without twisting is what I think that I have to do. That's right. That's right. Not doing that extra twist, but then I'm not going to see the full truck. Okay, so I'm going to cut this off right here, just leaving it a little tail underneath, and there's that tail underneath. So that first bow loop is like a 5.5. We're going to be doing the same thing, but we're going to be doing it the opposite way, where we have to set this up to where the loop is going this way. Okay, so we're going to be doing the same thing because we want that truck to be center stage. So we're going to take, let's see where this truck ends up. And we're going to do the same thing, have that loop underneath. We're going to scrunch this down in and see how you've got both trucks are still up instead of upside down. So we are putting this right down in here. This is just a little bit over the 5, giving us the same image, that truck. And we're going to cut it off right down here. All right. So that's what you do when you have one-way ribbon. One-way ribbon can be a little bit hard, but it's worth it in the end. And we're going to be using that one again, so we'll come back to it. So now we're going to go ahead and do the normal way on the Easy Bow Maker, where you just take your ribbon. There's my tails, so we're going to just go with those tails. I'm going to twist this right here, pushing it down in the bow maker. Let me zoom in a little bit on the bow maker, see if I can help you out there. Now we're going to turn, we twisted it. We are going to turn this to the size of our loop. And the size of my loop, I want it to be a little bit smaller. So we're going to just go to the tire, which is hard to say. It's about the 5-inch mark, because remember that these ones were 5.5. We're going to go there. We're going to twist again. Ooh. Hold, please. Oh, I got that one upside down. How did I do that? Oh, that's right. Okay, we're going to start that again. Okay, so on this one, we're going to do this one the normal way. We're going to place this one right in here, tail being a little bit shorter. We're going to twist bottoms up. You can tell that this is the underside just by the stitching on the edge. We're going to go a little bit less than the truck. And I don't always measure it after that. It's just like a little bit less. And then again, same thing. We're going to put this one in here. And then we're going to go right there. So now we've got another loop. And at the same time, you want to keep pulling your tails down. I like to keep pulling my tails down. It just helps me keep it in order. It depends on the bow you're doing though. And if you feel like you need a little bit more, just pull it. And there you go. Okay, that gives you just a little bit more, and you can adjust right there. I'm going to change this battery really quick. There we go. Sorry, I had to change the light. Okay, so we've got our plaid in there. We're going to go ahead and put in the truck again. So we're going to do the same thing again. We're just going to do a couple of loops. This time we're going to do just the truck itself on there, if that makes sense. We're going to make this a little bit shorter. That tail's going to be a little bit shorter. And we want just the truck in there. Okay. So now we're back to this one. We're going to do this loop. So this time I think I'm just going to do the pumpkins mostly. And we're going to go ahead and smush this in, and we'll see what size ribbon that makes it. Yeah, let's do that. We're going to pull this a little bit longer to get that tail a little bit longer, and we're going to focus mostly on those pumpkins. But the tails will still have the truck. Okay, and that's a little bit smaller than the last loop. So that's going to give us a good visual there of those pumpkins. We're just going to pull it out a little bit. There we go. So see, now you can see those pumpkins really great on the loop. The tail's pretty good. So we're going to cut just a little bit right here just to make sure we have enough overhang that it touches each other and goes past the wire. And there's another one. Okay. Same thing on this side. We're going to do the same. We are going to give us our loop. Our loop's going to be more fashioned towards the pumpkin. So we're going to pull this back a little. Let's see. So we're going to be fashioned more towards the pumpkin. Let's go ahead and see what this gives us right here. Pull that a little bit more so we can get those pumpkins in line. Yep. Pull that a little bit more. I'm going to smush this down in here and give us our tail over on this side. We'll cut just a little bit past the pumpkins. Like I said, one-way ribbon is a little bit difficult, but it's worth it in the end. So now we're going to adjust this one to make it what picture we're going for. We're going for those pumpkins, really. So we're going to adjust this down a little. There we are. Making sure that those loops are good. I'm going to cut this piece down just a teeny bit. I don't need all that on that side, so we're just going to pull it out, cut it out of there. There we go. Let's pull those pumpkins in just a little bit more. There we are. And that makes for a nice visual with both the pumpkins. And I'll show you how to do those tails. Okay, so now we're going to go here. We're going to take the pumpkin ribbon. We're going to add in some of that white pumpkin ribbon. This one's going to be super easy. We're going to just go with the tails where the tails were at. We're going to turn it, put it in. There we go. We want this one just to be a little bit smaller than the front, or than that last one. I'm kind of an eyeballer when it comes to that, guys. You twist it. You can always adjust now, like pull it back a little. There we go. So we're going to pull it back a little. We're going to do the same thing here, but this time you don't have to twist it because it's just your tail. So we're going to go right there. I like to scrunch them in a little bit though. Just like that. Okay? And there we go. So now we have, and we're going to pop one more little piece of blue, I think. Actually, I don't think we need it. We're going to go without it. I could have popped this little blue in there, but I think I kind of like just that accent. Well, let's do one little loop, maybe. We'll do one little loop. And when you do one little loop, super easy on the bow maker, you're just going to give yourself, depending on what loop you want, you're going to just give yourself what size of little loop you want. You're just going to make that loop. Let's figure out the tail. Maybe we want that tail to be a little bit longer. So we're going to figure out that loop I want. I'm just going to scrunch it here. I'm going to put it in here to one side. Okay. Put it in there to one side. It's going to get tied in with the wires, making sure that this is turned the right way for you. This one's turned the right way. Snip that off. And there is your bow. So now we're going to take, see this wire right here that I had? Remember the wire. So there's the wire. You take your wire. You want to bring your wire up. I'm just making sure those extra tails that we cut off for the truck are there. You're going to bring your wire up between these two dowels. Okay? Make sure you're bringing it up behind your tails. Whoops, I missed it. Behind your tails. That one's not going in there. Hold please. Let's see. There we go. Across there, across here. We're going to twist them right here in the middle because we put a single loop in. We're going to push it down. Okay, and then I'm going to pop this up. Now I have my wire. Pull my wires to the back. Wires to the back. Get these twisted a little bit more. We're keeping that integrity of your bow. There we go. Keeping the integrity of the bow. And then we're going to grab that right here. We're grabbing right in the middle. See how I'm checking my loops to make sure they're where they need to be first. And then we're just going to twist. Twist, 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 twist. And you just twist that all around until you get a super tight, tight looping there. Okay? So let's move the bow maker out of the way. And we'll move on to fluffing this. So this is our center loop. So we're going to bring this down, bring these tails down. We're going to pull all of these tails down in for our bow. making sure that all of our tails are twisted. See how they are? Making sure they're all twisted forward, that they're all in the right place. I'm going to show you how to fix this. I'm going to turn on my glue gun right there, and we'll show you how to fix that extra tail for the truck. So while that's warming up, we're going to work on this. We're going to work on dovetailing. We're just going to go through, we're going to dovetail all of our ribbons. Whoops, look, I did that wrong. See, dovetails can be so tricky, sometimes you mess them up. So I'm going to dovetail here. And go a little bit shorter. Whoops, see, I'm doing it wrong. Dovetail, dovetail. Fold to the corner on an angle. Voila. That's what I get for trying to do things upside down sometimes. I knew that one we were going to have to cut off quite a bit. And we're just cutting off all of our dovetail. We're dovetailing all of our ends to make it match up with our beautiful ties that we have set up in there. Same thing, and I'm just going to snip just a little bit off of this one because I want to keep the length as much as I can on that one. Got a couple more to dovetail, and our glue gun should be just about ready. And I'll show you how we fix those extra tails from having to do the one-sided ribbon, the one-way ribbon. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back here, we're going to look and see what's going on, right? So I don't need as much of that. I'm going to cut that off. Just needed enough for it to catch right there in the wire. This one, I have that one short enough. So what we're going to do, what we actually do is we take a little bit of glue. We take a little bit of glue just on the edges here. Just a little. You don't want a ton. And you're going to just take it and you're going to tack it down to the back of your ribbon tail, of your bow tail, right there. It's not seen, but it keeps it out of the way. Same thing here. I'm going to just put a little bit of glue across the back of this. We're just cleaning up it. Okay. Taking some hot glue, putting that in there. Just securing it down. That needs a little bit more glue right there. And tacking it. See how good that works? So that's just getting it out of the way. So let's find the other one. Same thing. Just a little bit of glue. And tack it. It just gets that little tail underneath and out of the way. One more time, and see we have a longer one here. We don't need it quite that long. We're just going to cut that off just so it gets it out of our way, and do the same thing. Just a little bit of glue. Okay? And voila! There it is. Whoop! There it is. Okay? So now they're just tacked down. I'm going to go ahead and put that there. We'll move all of our fun messes out of the way here, and we'll get back to our bow and our wreath. I'm going to move you up just a hair. There we go. There we are. Okay. So Now this is when the fun stuff happens. You do the fluffing of your bows, you make sure your tails are right now, make sure that your wire's in there good. Here's your wire, make sure you keep that handy because you're going to need it to tie in your bow. We did that little pop of the blue in the middle. We're going to move this back down now where it belongs. So this belongs down here. Okay. So we're making sure our tails are turning down. There we go. We got to get this, now that we did all of our gluing and fun business, we got to get this guy ready to rock and roll on his wreath. So there will be more fluffing on the wreath, but we want to make sure that we get it right the first time so we can look at the beauty of this bow. So we're going to put the truck here, put the truck there, the plaid there, there's the pumpkins, there's some more pumpkins, and then the blue in the middle. Okay, we're going to do the same on this side, and once it gets on the wreath, you'll really see the beauty of this bow. Same thing here, there's the truck, plaid, pumpkins, and other pumpkins. So let's get this beauty on our wreath. So here's our wreath again. Open that up a little so you can see better. There's our wreath again. I think on this one we're going to put this bow right at the bottom. Yep, super cute, super cute. So I'm going to do the same thing that I did before with the ties, just like I did with the chenille stems. I'm just going to take this wire. We're going to wire this right down in here, down into the frame. I'm going to take it into the frame. And if you see, it's right here in the frame, behind the frame, right in my hand. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this one, this other wire, and I'm going to pull it behind. Okay, my little friend. We're going to do the same thing as soon as that wire decides to go where it should. Let's grab it. Whoops. Let's grab the other wire. You took off. Okay, so now we're going to do the same thing. We're going to put our bow, just like we did with our sign. We're going to take our wires and we're going to feed them down in here where the wire went for the sign. And I'm just taking them down into the frame and I'm tucking them around both sides of the frame, and I'll show you that in just a second. We're going to turn this bow here so you can see it, because we want it right down here at the bottom of the pumpkin patch, right? Okay, so if you look right here, here are my two wires. I'm just going to twist those together on the back side of this frame. So that they're nice and secure. I even twisted the chenille stem into it. I'll show you. There you go, like that. Because the wires, we're going to tuck them in so that if they are on somebody's door, they won't ruin their door. We'll cut them and tuck them in. So now we've got that awesome bow here. Move my glue gun. Got this awesome bow. We're going to fluff it again. Okay. We're going to fluff it, giving us this accent of the truck. Right? Look at that. We're getting that truck accent in there. Nice blue truck. This beautiful plaid ribbon. In fact, I'm going to move this way. Let's do this way. There we go. We're going to pull the plaid up, leaving the truck, doing the plaid, and then pulling this pumpkin one down. There we go. Then we're going to lay out these three right here in the center. There we go. And if you don't like how your ribbon's treating you, you just fluff it until you get what you want. Because that's not the boss of you. You're the boss of it. So I pull my tails down here. We're going to give them some good loving. These two right here. Thinking about curling them a little bit. Sometimes you like to have a little bit of character. So I think I want to curl those two. We're going to give some good love to this ribbon here and make it stand out. As well as the truck, the plaids. You just really want these ribbons to stand at attention and be attention grabbers. Now this one's a little bit longer, so we're going to have to cut this down a little bit, which kind of is a bummer. Or we're going to turn it up for right now. So there is our bow on this beautiful wreath. I love this wreath already. You guys check that out. Isn't that awesome? And we're not even done yet. So let's get some pumpkins and stuff in here. We're going to add a couple of sunflowers to pop that yellow. Going to give it a little pop of yellow in there. So we're just going to add in a couple of sunflowers. I'm going to snip these off right here. We're going to be adding in some sunflowers here. Just a little bit to give that some character, but I think I'm going to stick them here in my bow. I'm kind of like that. I like to put things in my bow to give them some more character. We're just going to add a little bit of glue right here and on the tip. And I'm going to stick it right in here, coming out of my bow. Just a little bit of something, something coming out of that bow. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Just right there. Whew. Hot, 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 guys. Just burn myself. I'm good at that, just so y'all know. I'm always so good at burning myself. So giving ourselves a little bit of character coming out of there. That cutie patootie bow. Okay, so there's some of that, some of those sunflowers. I've got some little white pumpkins that I thought needed to be filtered in here. And I'm just going to take some little sticks and make my own picks with them. I think these pumpkins came from Hobby Lobby. All I'm doing is putting a little stick on them, adding some of that glue, and then I'm going to add them. Look at this nice little curly they have on them. I'm just going to add a couple little pumpkins in, and we're actually going to go, if I can get it to go in. That's the hard part. Just poking them in is the hard part sometimes. Poke this one back here behind some of the mesh. Maybe, maybe not. It's not digging it. Well, we don't want it quite right there. But how about right there? I actually think that we want that just a little bit differently. So we're going to put this in here, and we're just going to shove them down in. And then I'll go in and glue those right into place. I'm just getting my sticks into place there. There's a pumpkin there. Give me another stick. Like I said, these little pumpkins just come from Hobby Lobby. I'm just giving them a little poke here with my stick, putting it in there in a little bit of an angle, putting some glue on there to make it stay. And then I'm going to stick another little pumpkin over here. Come on, my little friend. There we go. He just had to get in there. Nice little pumpkin in there. I'm going to take one of these smaller little pumpkins. And I almost think I want to put them right there in the sunflowers. I think I'm going to take these clips off of them. Put some glue. And right there in the top of the sunflower. And that's going to be the center of the sunflower, is a pumpkin. Isn't that cute? I'm just going to put a little dab of glue underneath that stem so that that stem goes down all the way and holds well. So look how cute that is with a sunflower with the pumpkin in the top of it. So cute. So cute. So now we're going to do the same on the other side. Got another little pumpkin. We're going to do the same thing. Pull that clip off. Save these clips because they're good for things. I'm going to put some glue on the back of this. I'm using Gorilla Glue, guys, so I always use strong glue. Strong, strong glue. I'm just pushing that right into there. Cut this one down while we're looking at it. And then I think we're going to add another sunflower over on the top here. So we're going to take another sunflower, do the same thing. We're going to add some glue to the bottom of that just to make sure that the stem stays well. I'm going to cut the stem down just a little bit. Grab another one of those little pumpkins, pull that clip out. Just make sure that top's glued in there well. So I'm going to add that dab there and glue that back in. I'm going to add some glue right here. Put that right in the top of that sunflower. Get the glue strings off, right? Got to get the glue strings off. Now we're going to take this sunflower, we're going to put it up in here. We're going to use it right in there. That's going to give us our triangle. So we're going to just glue this one right down. We're going to glue this right down in here, right in the top, right above the sign. We've got our little pumpkins here. Maybe those little pumpkins need to come in a little closer. Let's see if we can get them a little closer. We'll add them in a little bit closer to our sunflower. You just go right through some of that mesh and into the wreath. It takes a minute when you're weaving it through the mesh. I kind of like that better. So we're going to do one more. We're going to switch this one over here. Whoops. Get my stick out of there. Glue this right back in. Just adding another stick, putting some more glue down here, and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to weave it through this mesh right here, and get it added in. Now look how cute that wreath is. We're going to fluff some more right here. Let's fluff a little bit more. Some of the spots we smushed when we were doing the wreath. But look how cute. Let me zoom out on that so you can see the whole thing. Don't look at the background because boy oh boy, stuff is happening here today. But look how cute, guys. Isn't that cute? I love this wreath. It came out so beautiful. I'm so excited about it. Thank you to my friends for including me in your collaboration. I appreciate all of you. And don't forget to go to their videos next and leave them a little pumpkin on there. If you watch their video after mine, please leave them a pumpkin and the emoji in their video so that they know in the comments that you watched mine. And we'll see you guys soon. Thanks for joining me. Bye bye, guys.